We're sailing on a luxury Alaska cruise and you're coming along. We will be visiting 4 spectacular Alaskan ports where we'll be seeing some nature and even landing on a glacier. We will also be experiencing the luxuries on board the beautiful Silver Nova, which includes fine dining, wonderful staterooms, and even some of the best service at sea. My name's Dawson from DuckDuckCruiser.com, and you're joining us on this amazing 7-night voyage to Alaska. But first, let's start off at the beginning, which puts us in Seward, Alaska. Now, one big question I had about boarding was it different than any other cruise line being Silverseas? Well, to be honest, not really at all. Besides that you board a little bit later, and you still drop off your bags, check in and get your card, go through security, walk through a cool gangway, and boom, you're on the ship. But what is different is you are welcomed by drinks and caviar. Oh yeah, and the cold towel, but I think this may have been for my hands and not my face. Anyways, let's head to the buffet for some lunch, but something I do have to say about this buffet is that for some reason it's on deck 4, which this may be because of its transformation at night, but more about that later. Oh yeah, and here's the food, and don't ask about the seafood, I just want to try it. But anyways, this food here was pretty good. And after finishing lunch, we pretty much just took some time to look around before it was time to head to the rooms. Alright, so they just made an announcement. The rooms are ready. So we're gonna head down there and check that out. You know, be pretty fun. Very excited to see this room. This is such a cool cruise ship line, so let's go look. Stepping into the room, you walk through this long hallway and pass the get ready desk. This is basically a place where you can get ready in the morning. It's got things like a chair, 2 mirrors, 1 with lights, and it also has your hamper for laundry next to it and more storage. Past that is where your bed is, which has 2 nightstands with more storage and the wireless part of your phone on it. Further into your cabin is where your living area is. Here you will find a couch that can be made into a bed along with a coffee table which can be set up by your butler into a dining spot for room service. Across from this area is your TV, which has all sorts of movies and acts as your app for Silverseas. You can also find more storage and plenty of plugs with even more drawers and counter space. You also have an iPad which basically acts as a separate TV. Here is also where you can find your mini fridge, which can be stocked by your butler with whatever you would like. Something else that the room comes with is a full walk-in closet that has plenty of room for all your clothes and even has a very large safe that could easily fit all your valuables. And back at the entrance of the cabin is your bathroom. While there are 2 versions of the bathroom, this one is the shower focused one, which provides a huge shower with an even bigger sink area and has lots of space on the toilet. You also have plenty of space to store all your toiletries and knickknacks. Anyways, let's enter the cabin and head to the balcony. But before we do that, let's get the safety video out of the way. And now that that's done, let's head out to the balcony. So as we're on the balcony, I should tell you that they give us these water bottles here, you know, showed it in the room tour, all that. If you know anything about me, I absolutely love these water bottles, like this type with this lid, all metal, absolutely love it. And it's Silverseas, love cruise ships, so like, this is a win, almost as cool as this view here. Anyways, got me a new water bottle. Alright, so since this is Silverseas, it's a very fancy line. This will absolutely not fly in the night at all. I don't really like dressing up, but we're gonna have to do this. So this has gotta go. We gotta get into something cooler, and we're gonna do a cool transition to get into some better clothes. Anyways, let's change in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so we're changed now into this. Be quite sweaty tonight. Never mind. And with that note, let's head to dinner. Tonight we are booked into the main dining room, which is called a landside. And upon arrival, we were shown to our seats and sat down. And throughout our cruise, we were offered still or sparkling water. As you can see, I went for sparkling. But also what was included was non-alcoholic drinks and alcoholic drinks, except for some of the really expensive stuff. Oh yeah, and you don't even need to swipe your card or anything, unless you're getting that expensive stuff. Anyways, after drinks and some bread, our orders were placed and we skipped straight to the main course, and I went for the filet mignon. And it was fair to say that this was very tasty. For dessert, I went for a chocolate peanut bar thing, and while this was definitely different and a bit of a lighter dessert, it still tasted very good. Well, dinner has been ate. It was actually a really good meal. Very different, that dessert at least. Anyways, let's see what the night has to offer. But what the shops offer is a ship model, so you just know we had to buy that. But you know, I really didn't think before coming on this ship that they even had a ship model, but we still had to get it. And shortly after buying the ship model, our ship did let go of the lines and sail away. And because the ship left Seward pretty late, I think it's time to head to bed. Alright, so before we do go to bed, there is something I should let you know about. And if you are planning to come on this ship, this could be a consideration. As you can see, water completely still. I mean, that's glass, not really choppy looking. You know, you would think it would be calm, but it's really not. It's actually rocking a bit. Doesn't bother me. I don't get seasick, but that's just something to know. This ship is definitely gonna rock around. Oh, good morning, y'all. I say we head down to breakfast down in La Teresa. Speaking of this place, La Teresa is located on deck 4 at the back and is the onboard buffet. They serve lunch and breakfast here, but it also transforms into the Italian restaurant at night. But what we're here for today is breakfast. Alright, got my breakfast, so let's try it. That's pretty good. And now that we're finished with breakfast, let's head somewhere else. So it still is pretty early in the day, so a lot of the activities actually haven't even started yet. So I think the best thing to do is we're in the observation lounge here, and we're gonna play some Uno, so that'll be fun. And yes, it is still the best version of Uno. It is Ratatouille Uno. And speaking of the observation lounge, located on deck 10 in the front, is a huge lounge that provides great views and plenty of games, and even a really cool library. Well, after a few rounds of Uno, it's time to head somewhere else, and what better thing to do than go to the Meet the Officers talk in the coffee shop. And speaking of the coffee shop, located on deck 4, the Arts Cafe is the place to go for your all-inclusive coffees and light bites. Alright, so it's a little bit later in the day, and we're here in the coffee shop, so, you know, since it is a little later, there's an officer talk, so it'll be kind of interesting to see like the bridge staff, hotel staff, engineers, all that stuff, so it'll be pretty cool. And after that cool experience, I think it's time to head to get some lunch. And if you're wondering what this place is, this is the Grill. Here they serve lunch and dinner and offer a nice outside dining experience. Plus, I think it just looks really cool. And while that might have not been the best calzone I've ever had, it's time for the star of today, the Hubbard Glacier. Well, while that might have been one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen, it's time for dinner. And once again, we skipped straight to the main dish. It's prime rib time. Let's go. This actually looks so good. It's definitely as good as it looks. And then for dessert, I went for some ice cream with chocolate sauce. This is definitely getting all eaten. There ain't gonna be any left. And next on the agenda would be the show, and tonight they will be introducing the senior staff like the captain and chief engineer. And along with that, this show is absolutely amazing. Well, good morning, y'all. As we approach Juneau, let's head to breakfast real quick and get something to eat. Well, now that breakfast is done, let's head off the ship into Juneau. But first, something cool that Silver Nova has is bottle refill stations in the embark, debark area. So you know we had to make use of that. So here we are in Juneau, just got off the ship. We're gonna go head to the tram and then do something else even cooler. It's a tour. So yeah, pretty cool for a sport. And what better thing to do before our tour than the oh-so-popular Gold Belt tram that takes you to the top of the mountain in Juneau. And it's pretty fair to say that these tickets for the tram are not cheap at all, but at least the tickets are for the whole day and do let you ride it multiple times. And now that we're at the top, what better thing to do than enjoy the views? Alright, enough of this. Let's head back down the tram and go to our cool excursion. But to actually get there, we first gotta go on the bus that will take us there, but surprisingly, the bus, it was almost empty. And now that we have arrived, we were given a little briefing and shown to our helicopter, and yes, this is a Glacier tour. As we board and take off, I should probably mention that there could be a big downside to this type of tour. The thing is, you have no control of where your seat could be, so when you're spending this much money, there is a chance that you will get the middle back seat. There's also a chance you'll get the front window seat, but this is just a big risk you do have to take into calculation, so just know that when you're booking a tour like this. Anyways, it's time to head off to the Glacier. Oh yeah, it says positioning is also based off of weight. Here's a chart to help you with that, just so you can get an idea of maybe where you'll be seated. Oh, here we are. We are on a glacier. It's really cool. Yeah. It's our helicopter. Well anyways, that tour was really cool, but it's time to head back to the ship and get some dinner. But now that we're all changed up, let's head to dinner, and for tonight we're booked into Salt. This is a restaurant where the menu is inspired by the destination and where they serve land and sea. Alright, new restaurant today, so let's see what they have to offer. Alright, so they brought us a flower pot with bread in it. So let's try this. That's not that good. We do have another bread though. That's not that much better. Anyways, after that not so good bread, it's time for our mains, and I went for the sirloin steak. And let me just say, that steak was really good, but now it's time for dessert. And the desserts I went for were the baked Alaskan and the blueberry pie. But if I'm being honest, the blueberry pie was definitely better. Well, now that dinner is finished, it's time to check out the show for tonight, which is an Alaskan string band. And now that the show's finished, it's time to head to bed. And while we were heading to bed, the ship did sail away. Well, good morning, y'all. It's time to get some breakfast and then get off our hands, so I'm quite hungry. Let's go. And once again, we are eating breakfast in La Terraza, or the buffet. But anyways, let's head off for our tour. And once getting off our ship, all we had to do was check in and get on our bus. And one thing that I do have to say about Silverseas bus tours is that from what I found, they are better because they split up larger groups into smaller buses. While that might not happen everywhere, that's at least what happened here. Anyways, here we are at one of their stops for today, and let me just say, Alaska is a very beautiful place. But if you're wondering what this tour is, well, it's basically a nature and scenic bus tour. But something nice about this is that it was completely free. And you might be sitting there saying to yourself, wait, what? Well, the thing is that luxury lines like Silverseas include tours in your fare, and this was one of them. But I should say that they aren't always the greatest or best tours. But don't get me wrong, they still are good tours. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering about that Glacier tour, no, that was not included. That was definitely not one of the included tours. And while I was talking, we did stop at an absolutely amazing lake, and now we are at the next stop. And as we come back to the ship, I say that we go to the room and watch a movie, and something really cool about doing this is that your butler can bring you popcorn or other snacks for your movie, so you know we had to try that out. So we're heading off to dinner at the Marquee, where we can cook stuff on a salt thing, or some kind of tablet. So, and the reason I said Marquee is because that's the name of the grill when they serve dinner. Anyways, we put in our orders and I decided that I wanted to cook a steak, so they gave me a bib and brought me a hot rock. Well, besides getting everything at the table greasy, this looks pretty good, so... Well, it's definitely fair to say that that was a good steak. It did make quite of a mess, but nevertheless, it's time for dessert, and I went for the s'more. Alright, so we got this massive s'more. Looks pretty good, so I'm actually really excited for this. And now that dinner is finished, let's make our way to the show for tonight, which is Limelight, and no, not the lounge from Carnival. Anyways, let's head to bed now. Well, good morning, y'all. Let's head to breakfast real quick before we head out to our tour today in Sitka. And as we make our way down to our tour, something I should say is that at least for Silverseas, Sitka is a tender port, and something I was not expecting about this is that our whale watching boat pulled directly up to our ship, so that was pretty nice. And not too long after we got on the boat, we set sail and headed off on yet again another included Silversea tour. And the whole goal of this tour would be to see some whales with the ultimate goal of seeing some orcas, which are the rare whales that you can see. And surprisingly, it didn't take too long for us to spot some humpback whales. And what I would have to say that really made the tour for all of us is the fact that we did end up getting to see some orca whales, who did decide to put on quite a show for us today. And with one interesting whale show now seen, I say we make use of the bar on the boat and get a little drink as we head back to the ship. And while we did get on this tour from the ship, the boat did drop us off into town, so we did have to catch a tinner ride back to the ship. And since we're now back on the ship, let's grab a little lunch real quick. Oh yeah, and please wash your hands. It's so easy and it just helps everyone else as well. And yes, I do this every time we go on the buffet. This is like my first taste of Mexican in like 2 weeks. I've been waiting for this. This is definitely needed. And as you can see now, we are now finished with our tour and lunch, and now we're left with the dilemma of what to do now. Well, if you're like me, you were wondering before coming on this cruise ship, would this be the exact same question I was asking myself the entirety of the cruise? Well, honestly, no. Silver Nova provides a lot of things to do. Well, first of all, there's games and trivia along with bingo in lounges like the Panorama Lounge. There are also plenty of other bars that play live music later into the night. Some of these include the Shelter on Deck 3, Atrium on Deck 4, the Dulce Vita on Deck 5, and the Salt Bar on Deck 11. There is also a spa located on Deck 5 at the front and provides treatment rooms along with a fitness center. Silver Nova also has shows in the theater along with a small casino on Deck 5, a cooking classroom on Deck 11, and even more facilities including an observation lounge, library, and even a pool and a hot tub that we may or may not be trying out later. Anyways, enough of all that, let's head to bingo back in the Panorama Lounge. And unlike bingo on most cruise lines, Silverseas bingo is completely free. And you might be wondering, well, do you still win money? Well, no, but you earn point cards which can be traded in for prizes at the end of your cruise, but more about that later. And for as how bingo and trivia went, well, let's just say there was no luck there. And now that we're changed for dinner, let's head back to the Marquee for yet again another hot rock steak. And as for what steak I chose, well, this time I went for the New York strip steak, which was definitely a good choice. Alright, we're gonna cut into it now. And it's definitely fair to say that that was one of the better steaks I had, but now it's time for dessert. So I didn't know I'd be eating the Pyramid of Giza tonight, but here we are. It's actually pretty good. It's like light, but it's good. Very important news, they have strawberry cheesecake. You can order it through room service. So obviously we had to get that, so let's take a bite real quick. Cheers. It's very good, very good. Now I'm gonna absolutely destroy this and eat this, so. Alright, so I destroyed that cheesecake. Anyways, showtime. Something movie themed, something like that, so see what it has to do. Yeah. And with that good show finished, let's head in for bed now. So it is getting a little dark out. I get it's a little bit late, but hey, it's still dark. And I think it's going to continue to get darker sooner now that we're traveling even more south back down to Vancouver. Anyways, it's been a long day. It's time to get some sleep. Well, good morning, y'all, and I say we make use of another included amenity and order a room service breakfast. Now, like most cruise lines, you do still have to put out the card the night before, but on Silverseas, it's no extra cost. And not only is breakfast free, but so is lunch and dinner. And as for how it tasted, well, this was pretty good. And with breakfast now finished, it's time to head out yet again for another one of our included tours, which just so happens to be a whale watching tour again. Now, unlike yesterday, our boat did not pull up next to the ship, so we did have to catch a tender into Klawock in order to get into our boat. And pretty soon we set out on our whale watching tour to look for some whales. And while we might have not been as successful as yesterday was, we did get to see a few whales along with a ton of seals, sea lions. I honestly don't know the difference between the two, they look about the same. And again, just like yesterday, we had to make use of the bar on board and get a hot chocolate. And just like the last tour, we had to get off and catch a tender back to the ship. And if you are wondering what is here in port, well, right off the tender area, they have a little nice campfire, along with a restaurant and a shop. Oh yeah, and you can also find the shuttle into town here. And as we go grab some lunch, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more like it. Anyways, it's food time. Alright, so now that lunch is finished, what better thing to do than watch a movie, but this time it's in the main theater. And see, the nice thing about Silverseas is that they provide free popcorn along with drinks for the movie. As for the movie we'll be watching, well, it's called Last Breath, and honestly, it was pretty good. And with the movie finished, it was once again time for afternoon bingo and trivia, and this time, well, we got a little luckier on both bingo and trivia. Alright, so now there is a show early tonight. I don't know why, but there is, so we're headed to that. And yes, for whatever reason, there was an early show that night, so we did a quick change of clothes and sat down to watch the show. And if I'm being honest, the show was just okay. It was a little slow-paced. And because the show was so early, once it let out, it was a mad dash to the dining room, but we still did get a seat, and with it being later into the night, we were really hungry, so we went straight for mains, and I went for the chicken parmesan, which was really good. That's pretty good. Can't lie. Pretty good. And you already know that we just had to go for dessert, and I went for the chocolate cake and ice cream, which was really good. And with a full stomach and a busy sea day tomorrow, it's time to hit the bed. Good morning, y'all. Let's get a quick breakfast real quick and head out for our first activity. So as for what our activity is, well, it is an included bridge tour, and yes, that's right, it is included, but it is a first come first served basis, and sign up is on the first day of the cruise. Alright, so we're just waiting for the tour now in this bar. And while we weren't able to film video, we could take pictures, so here are a few of them. Anyways, that was really cool, but it's pool time. I didn't expect to be swimming on this cruise. I'm wearing the rope up here. And see, unlike most cruises, this pool was actually heated, so it made it pretty fun in Alaska. And with this being the last day of the cruise, now is the perfect time to do a mini review of Silvernova. And I guess the big question is, who is it for? Well, I personally think that the ship is for people who want a luxury, all-included feeling on the ship with a laid-back experience and a great port focus. I would say that Silverseas does lean towards an older crowd, but I personally would not let that turn you away from the beautiful ships that they have, and especially the Silvernova. All of the facilities and services have been really nice, and there are options for less fancy things, maybe just not as many as other lines, but I would still recommend this line a lot. As for did I enjoy this ship, well, absolutely. This has been one of my favorite ships and trips that I've been on so far, so that's really nice. So honestly, I can really only be thankful for a trip like this. Anyways, back to the pool. And after changing back into some normal clothes, it was time for music bingo, and well, not too much luck here today. And since it was lunchtime, we decided to check out the buffet, and today they're serving brunch, which, to be honest, didn't really have anything that I wanted, so I kind of just went for, you know, all desserts. Macaroon. Very tasty. And while I might have not found much I wanted, I know that this was extremely popular among the crews because, well, they had a huge seafood pile and caviar. Oh yeah, and the caviar was served earlier in the brunch. later was the seafood. And with our lunch finished, it was once again time for bingo and trivia in the Panorama Lounge, and while we might have not won anything this time, it is time to tell you about the point shop that you have. The point shop happens on the last day, or at least it did for us, and this is basically where you can exchange your points you won for cool Silverseas merchandise. And what I should also mention is that these items do cost quite a bit of points. Anyways, with some new cards and a pin, it's time to head once again to another early show. And tonight being the last, this is where the farewell happens and where most of the crew come onto the stage, which is always cool to see. And as for the show, while I enjoyed it, it wasn't my favorite, but the audience did seem to really like it. And with one last final mad dash to the dining rooms, it's time for a sirloin steak and salt kitchen.
That's a really good steak. That's just good.
Alright, so we did just finish dinner. No dessert, but maybe future me will be eating dessert. I don't really know. Anyways, we're gonna see what the night has to offer. So yeah. Well, turns out that all we would really be doing tonight is eating strawberry cheesecake and watching us sail through these absolutely beautiful canals of Canada as we head to Vancouver. I mean, just look at this. It's absolutely amazing. Well, as we sail into Vancouver, which let me just say is absolutely beautiful, it is also the beautiful reminder that the cruise has come to an end, so we do need to get off the ship now. And mind you, they still do have breakfast options in the morning, but as for ease of getting off, we had no problems, so can't complain there. And as we make our way through Vancouver, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video so you don't miss any more like it, and comment down below if you have or would consider an Alaskan cruise. I do also have to mention that Jeb Brooks kinda inspired this trip. Oh yeah, and here's another cool cruise video for you to check out. And with that note, I only have one thing to say. Always remember to have a ducky day.